what has Jimmy Butler brought to Golden State here?
Well, look, we've talked about a lot of the things, and everybody keeps echoing the same things. Obviously, the toughness, the edge, the two-way player, 20 points a game is nice. I think it's his passing and his ability to understand where to go to occupy open spaces. His ability to fit in the confines of the continuity of their offense, his IQ is off the charts.
Jimmy Butler is an absolute genius. The league completely dropped the ball, not only allowing Golden State the biggest heist of the season by pairing Steph Curry with another superstar, but one that fits so well with the team from day one, the Warriors might pull off the biggest upset in this year's playoffs. While the Mavs trading Luka grabbed the biggest headlines, the trade for Butler mostly flew under the radar. Not in the sense of news of the trade, but with regards to the level of impact this trade will have on this Warriors team. At the very least, it makes the Western Conference a lot more interesting. One of the most difficult teams for the Warriors in the West just happens to be the Dallas Mavericks, and having lost to them in the third of 4 matchups, it was going to be important for the Warriors to send a message. What happened in that game should simply not be allowed to happen to any basketball team, as Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry shredded Dallas, and to add insult to injury, completely humiliated PJ Washington in front of the entire team, fans, their general manager, and PJ Washington's son. Now PJ's being relentlessly mocked on social media after suffering at the hands of the baby-faced assassin. What a shame. But this isn't the only thing that was so special about how the chef and the butler carved the stuffing out of the Dallas Mavericks and the Charlotte Hornets. There's something about Jimmy that we saw and will more than likely continue to see in the future as well that will absolutely blow your mind. If this doesn't show you why the Warriors are one of the top contenders in the West, you might have to consider watching basketball in Braille. So, let's get to breaking down Jimmy Butler's game and why his appearance on the team has been leading to so many wins. Just be sure to like the video and subscribe to Switch Culture for the most analytical and entertaining NBA content on the planet. Now get ready. You're about to get The Golden State Warriors are now 6-1 in the Jimmy Butler era. This is no accident. The one game they lost was actually quite anomalous when you look back, as that game was so poorly reffed, Jim Park actually took a break from flaming Steve Kerr to incinerate the NBA refs. Considering it was a clutch game with only a 4-point differential, crucial crunch time calls that could have gone the other way certainly impacted the outcome. And speaking of impact, Jimmy was a bit disappointed in that particular game. He went as far as to mention in the Warriors-Rockets post-game interview that it should have been 4-0, not 3-1. He clearly wasn't going to let that go. Watching the rematch told us everything we needed to know about what Jimmy is capable of doing, and that starts with his immediate impact on the floor. On both ends, he affects the game at a high level as a complete basketball player. Right from the beginning, Jimmy sets the stage, double teaming to help out Steph Curry, whom defenders see as the weakest link in the Warriors' defense. Now, while that may be true in some sense, the weakest link when you have a lineup that includes a former Defensive Player of the Year, as well as a former Defensive Player of the Year candidate, the player that led the league in charges taken during his rookie year, and an albatross, you go at the smallest player on the floor and pray you make it to the other side. But this helping isn't totally isolated nor relegated to Steph Curry alone. If you recall, the Warriors utilized Draymond as a free-range defender because he's got incredible game IQ and can blow up plays before they happen. Jimmy Butler is a defender in the same vein, and with this ability, it appears the Warriors have Jimmy playing a similar role to Draymond on that end of the floor. Now, this is easier done when you're playing center as Draymond does, as it gives the ability to see the entire floor. However, as we saw with Jimmy against the Kings, he'll go one-on-one or help defend on anyone not named Draymond Green. He's able to switch and easily guard 2 through 5 and still do well against some 1s. Take this play for example when he chases down Kyrie on a fast break. This is normally an easy bucket as Irving is one of the best finishers in the NBA. Butler goes as far as to raise his hand only to fake a block attempt knowing Kyrie would see him and adjust. He pulls back at the last second, at which point he had already distracted Kyrie, who had already adjusted to Butler's presence, resulting in him missing a point-blank layup. But what about the other side of the floor? This is actually where a few key intangibles about Butler shine through. You think he's going to be a ball hog that wants to ISO and go one-on-one. You would be dead wrong. Prior to Jimmy arriving in Golden State, I wasn't sure how well he played without the ball in his hands, but what I'm witnessing is actually insane. Jimmy is a savant on or off the ball, and this fact has been one of, if not the single most impressive things about Jimmy and why he fits so well next to Steph Curry. His game is so complete that he doesn't need to just sit in a corner and wait. As a matter of fact, that's probably the worst part of Jimmy's game, to sit in a corner and hoist up catch and shoot threes. We see him there in this play where they bring the ball up. He goes and immediately sets a screen for Steph Curry. This play resulted in the first bucket of the game for the Warriors. For him, it's automatic, and he does it so effortlessly, contributing to the offense without what seemed like even a thought of getting the ball into his hands. This is how you develop a feel for the game and get into a rhythm. Figuring out how to counter the motion offense is one thing. There are hours and hours of scouting videos available. However, being able to come in on day 1 and play within said offense, and by game 6 or 7 being able to run circles around your opponents is nothing but black magic. Although I suppose if you're the one drawing up the plays, then it's a wash, isn't it? He's got great court awareness and court vision, so he sees the plays developing ahead of time, makes the reads and then executes, sets double screens and make back cuts. He's a very multi-dimensional player, and because of his wide-ranging abilities, what you'd expect from a true basketball player, he's able to do all the things I've said above and keep the game flowing. This doesn't just apply to when he's playing off ball, however. So what happens when you actually put the ball in Jimmy's hands? Considering a lot of Warriors plays initiate out of the post, the split action or the double drag split action ending with the flare screen to set up your outside shooters, this team and strategy is a perfect fit for Butler. This is where he likes to initiate, being a mid-range meister. No one would bat an eye if Jimmy simply fakes and rises up to shoot a midi over his opponent, a la Kevin Durant, so it adds another dimension to the Warriors' sets. While the Warriors have Curry coming off a double drag screen to get open and hit the 3, it used to be much easier to guard with Draymond in the post. He was either going to make a DHO, fake the pass and drive to the basket, or he was going to wait for Curry to come off a flare. What he wasn't going to do was rise up and shoot at mid-range. With Jimmy, all options are on the table, and this gets Curry more open looks. It improves Jimmy's offensive game, and so far, the results have been speaking for themselves. This is the genius of Jimmy Butler. This is why the NBA should fear the Warriors signing one of the league's most talented two-way players. But don't let my word be the last on it. Is there a better signing that was available to the Warriors than Jimmy at this point? Which team in the West could actually pose a problem for Golden State in a 7-game series? Post your thoughts in the comments below. Just be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all your notifications so you don't miss any of my latest uploads. Thanks for watching. Till next time, swish.